Hello YouTube vintage camera collectors. I don't think I need my shades indoor today. Anyway, today I want to talk about another 35mm camera find. And I like rescuing these. And I saw this one at an antique flea market in Waterloo. On a shelf, it actually came with this nice case, genuine leather made in Japan. And that means something. That means quality. It was in a booth that had mainly knickknacks, like figurines and the kind of stuff you decorate a house with. This was the only camera they had, and I just recognized the case. At first, I thought it was a Pentax Spotmatic 2 because of the type of case. Then I picked it up and I realized that's a little heavier than the Spotmatic 2. That's like an Argus. And it's actually an Argus Cosina STL1000. Boy, is this thing made well. It's like basically, it feels like it's carved out of a block of metal. There's very little plastic on it. And just show you some of the features of it. It has a lens. It's a 50mm f2.8. And this lens looks like a Super Takumar. It's just amazing. I've owned so many Pentaxes, I know Super Takumar when I see it. They have stop ring, everything, except it doesn't have an automatic manual switch on it. And it is labeled an Argus lens. But this has some interesting features that make it similar to a Pentax 1000, a K1000, or more like a Spotmatic 2, or a Praktica LTL3, MTL3. MTL5, which is one of my favorite cameras. Okay, it's like a Pentax because it has the identical light meter switch right here. Through the lens light metering, stock down light metering. Okay, so you put it on, and you go and you line up the little needle, match the needle in the groove. Then you take your picture, and the switch jumps back. So you have to turn it on every time. It's the same switch, exactly the same, even inside. Okay, here's another interesting. The hot shoe, the prism in here, the rewind lever, it looks so Pentax. But you get to this side of the camera, okay, you've got a winder and a shutter speed selector that's like a Praktica, but then the actual shutter button is like a Pentax. And it has a timer on it like a Pentax. One big difference is the metal shutter. And this is a vertical running metal shutter, just like the Prakticas. It's a Copal shutter, it's German. And this one was jammed. How I got the camera was this. You could not advance the film lever. The shutter button was down, like way down. And the mirror was stuck up. And I've seen this many times. And it can be the kiss of death on a Pentax with a rubber shutter. Because sometimes those shutter blinds, the rubber will shed and it will bind and jam. That's one thing I like about these metal shutters. You can run a little bit of lighter fluid on them, fire them a few times, and they work great. This one was a little more complex. At first I took the bottom of the camera off because sometimes the advanced reset lever inside can be stuck. Grease was hard. It was hard like toffee. So I degreased the bottom, put some lighter fluid in it, but I was able to move the shutter, get the mirror back, and fire it once, and then it jammed again. Something wasn't quite right. I noticed there's a lever between this button and the mechanism down here that was in the wrong position. So that means taking the camera apart, and boy, that's fun. You gotta peel the leatherette off, take the bottom off, take all the controls off the top, which is a lot of fiddly little lock nuts and stuff. And you take some pictures of it before you do it. And then I finally get inside to the point where I can take this center section off and look at the mechanism. And there's a pivot in here. So this pushes the lever, which pivots, It's like one of those things, you know, see in a cartoon where all these little, somebody trips a wire and all these little things move, you know, like the tea kettle heats up, a balloon floats up, it flips a switch, bang, 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 then the dominoes fall, and then the burglar alarm goes off. Something like that. It's very intricate. There's a clockwork mechanism in here around the self-timer, which is integrated with the shutter. So anyway, I took that apart and I found the pivot point, which is held in by a screw. The screw had wound its way out, fallen inside the camera, jammed in the mechanism. So put that back together, ran a little bit of lighter fluid on it, worked the mechanism, and Roncinol lighter fluid is the best for that. And put it back together, and all the speeds just fired beautifully. I'll show you what I mean. Cocks smoothly because I lubed it. This is a solid camera. I'm just going to open it up. It has the German style lever on the bottom. And then you can see it. And there's the vertical shutter. Now, it has the Pentax style film loader. I don't know why. Cosina may have borrowed parts or engineering, or I mean they may have made stuff for each other. I don't know enough about them. The Praktikas have that wire clip that grabs the film. Anyway, a couple other things with it. It had foam, a foam damper for the mirror, a foam light seal here, a foam light seal over here. They're all falling apart. And so I actually used some craft felt. I've done this many times in cameras. The felt holds up much better. I've bought new foam and put it in and it crumbles 3 years later. Just a bad idea. So I use the felt like the really old cameras. It will really last. And then closes, latches really nice. 42mm lens mount, so that's really cool. But what I want to just say at the closing is I like to pick these cameras up for next to nothing, get them working, and I usually sell them. I make 20 or 30 bucks on a camera. This is my retirement thing, and the people that buy them, so many of them are art students in universities, that type of thing, community colleges. They're still using film in the program, and they love. Pentax K1000 is what most people want. But it's become well known that the Praktikas are really durable cameras. And then these Cosinas also are just amazingly durable. You can almost always get them going. And then, you know, of course, 42mm lenses are a dime a dozen. So are the K-mount ones. And it's just amazing to me how film photography, and I took photography at the high school level. I was on the yearbook team, did stuff like that. Now I use photography for my website, and I also use it as a hobby, you know, just to get outside, take pictures, go, you know, through the woods or wherever. And it just amazes to me that it's still alive. In fact, I think film is almost in a second golden age. And these are the cameras that people like. Anyway, just thought I'd run that by you. I'm going to do a few other cameras as I restore them. Thanks for watching and listening.